Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. It is Monday, September 25th. Yeah, 2023. I had to check to make sure. Because September just kind of sneaks up on me. I know I have relatives and my mom's birthday is this month and that sort of thing, but September always feels a little out of place. You go August, September, then you're back into October, and I don't know. September just kind of feels weird sometimes whenever you say that. I did a video for Patreon, and I was trying to say September, and I kept stumbling through it. I was like September. I don't know why. Normally, I'm pretty good at articulating certain words, but for some reason, I was struggling with September. So, if you are here, I thank you for being here. If you're not, why are you? What are you waiting for? Come again next time. Get here sooner. If you're not here right now, you need to be here at the beginning of all of my live streams, and then also you need to hit the comment or leave a thumbs up and leave a comment and get involved to be part of the live stream. I do these on Monday nights, and I've been doing this, I don't know, probably a couple years now. And the nice part is I always have great people on the live stream, and I appreciate all of you for being here and participating. I know that we get sometimes off track, and sometimes we may not talk about classic cars so much, but that's okay too because life is more than just cars, but they're pretty important. Yeah. So if you have a question or if you want to be involved, by all means, post your question or a comment, or we'll show some pictures tonight, different things going on, and be part of it. And if you like I said, have a question, go ahead and ask. I'll try to answer it for you. If not, I've got a great group of people over there in the chat box, and usually we can resolve some problems in doing so. And if you do participate, you get a bell. Yep, it's free. It's free. It comes with the whole program. You get a bell. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, yeah. Okay, we're gonna get started on this and see who's here first, and that is Rick Gain. He was here about 6:20. He says, "Hope all is doing well tonight. Me, I'm recovering from a kidney stone. Definitely no fun. I'll give you a bell for being here. I will. I don't want to. No. Kidney stone? No. I can't. I need a buzzer. I need like a buzzer for that, like they have on Family Feud, where it's that may be. I mean, I have a bell for good things and a buzzer for bad things. You never know. But yeah, I've been down that road. One time was enough for me. I never want another one. So sorry to hear you're going through that. But glad you're here. Jerry checking in from the Money Pit. Good evening, all from Middle Tennessee. Thumbs up for the channel. Yes, thank you, Jerry. Appreciate that. Crash Rider from a beautiful day in southern Indiana. Good evening to everyone. Nice progress on Slither being made too. Be sure to leave a like to help Joe Daddy. Yes, thank you, Crash Rider. Charles checking in. Hello, all from sunny and nice 90-degree Pensacola, Florida. Should be a great evening with Barry on tap. Everyone, like and subscribe. Please share. It really helps. Slither is looking really great. It is. I'm very happy with how things are going with what I've accomplished so far. We'll still have some discussion on some other things that we're trying to work into the vehicle, and we may have some other some conflicts with some stuff, but we'll get to that. I know it'll get resolved. Rick Gain, for those who are counting, Christmas is in 91 days. Yes, I need to get my list together for everybody so they know, what I need. Ed Cucciarella says hello all, and Ed has sent me a picture early on. He sent one last week as well. So here are the gas prices out in California. And that is Southern California. So, yeah, not a fan. I think we're less than half of that here in Georgia. So I'll take that any day over those prices. So glad you're here, Ed. If I didn't give you a bell already. Busted Knuckle Garage. That's Tommy in Alabama checking in. I hope everyone is doing well. Glad you're here, Tommy. Rick Stevenson. You're just in time. Coffee is hot and fresh. Glad you're here, Rick. Oh, don't want to do that. Oh, I moved my coffee cup, and the end of my charger went on the end of the little heating thing that I have. That would be bad. Don't want to do that. Robert checking in, the Infernal Craftsman. Evening all. Summer still going strong here. Mid 90s for the foreseeable future, and was 101 the other day. Oh, yeah. I was looking at this earlier. I was just checking temperatures. Today it got up to 87. It did, and tomorrow it'll be 87, and then it's going to be low 80s the rest of the week. So really can't complain about that. Really can't. Roger checking in. Hindsight 6-7. Greetings next door. Just back from a quick long weekend round trip to Kentucky. Glad you're here, Raj. Jerry is checking in. Hi, Barry. How do y'all back home in Texas with the grumpy Infernal Craftsman? Just time for it to start cooling off. Have a great stream. Oh, yeah, I will. And look, the Wi-Fi signal is coming on. Why is it doing that? That's not even an option. I hope that's not affecting everybody. Let's find out. I don't know why it's trying to do the Wi-Fi. There is no Wi-Fi out here. I've got a dedicated cable. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But glad you're here, Jerry. If I didn't give you a bell, sorry. The computer's messing with me. Robert says the sad part is mid 90s is cooling off here. Yeah. Evan's Garage. Hey Barry. Hey all. I'm Barry. Lots of good CJ work. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Evan. Glad you're here. And Evan says won't be on long, but I sent over a photo of my new transition pan all welded in. You know what? Hold on just a second. I did download that. I just didn't get it on the file yet. So here you go. There's his transition pan welded in. Yeah, that looks nice. That's better than having one that's all chopped up and messed up. So very good. Very good. Always good to see progress. I'm going to go back up here. Wait a minute. I lost him. We have Rusty checking in. Hello, Barry and all from southern Indiana. Glad to hear Rusty. Dave Conville. Good evening. Good evening, Dave. Glad you're here. And Gene says, hey, everyone. Long time away from me. Yes, it has been, Gene. Glad you're here. I remember. It's Gene, right? Yeah. Simone, Hooked on Classics. Hi, Barry. I just refurbished my wiper motor and mount bracket. Well, I'll give you 2 bells for that. That doesn't sound like a lot of fun, but I'm glad you got it done. Dave Tyson. Good evening, all. Good evening, Dave. Second Dave sighting for tonight. Nick Moss. Hello. Hello, Nick. Nick, tell me your car's done. Tell me it's all put back together and ready to go. I would like to hear that. Smoke says hi to Robert. Robert says, gas is $2.99 here today. Hey, Simone. Okay. Nick, what kind of wheels is Charles putting on Slither? That's a good question. I don't know exactly. I don't know. I think he's may have mentioned it to me, but I don't remember exactly what they were. I'm sure he can tell us. Stephen Edge need to do a car meet where everyone brings their projects instead of finished ones. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Simone, fuel is up over here to $1.60 a liter. Yeah, we can't do that math that quick, but that sounds like a lot. Crash Rider, no problem with stream so far. That's good. Thank you. Gene is suffering with what used to be called the common cold. Not sure if we can say that anymore. Yeah. We know. We all know how that works. You know, yeah, okay. A little more coffee to keep going. And yes, sir. Thank you, Gene. Michael Pagliarini. Hello, all from Wet, Rhode Island. Glad you're here, Michael. Hope all is well with you. Okay. everybody's checked in, at least at this point. Got 39 viewing. Hope everybody's putting a thumbs up and all that sort of thing on there. Uh, the views have been getting better on YouTube with some changes and obviously some creative things that I've tried to incorporate into the videos. Still not seeing the revenue like I want to, but I am seeing a better trend as far as viewership and time watched and all that sort of thing, and I think that's a good thing. So I can't complain about that. Um, as I'm working on Slither, Charles has been sending me plenty of parts, and I appreciate that. We've got all kinds of stuff to go into this car, and we need to get things progressing, right? And one of the things was a roll bar, and this is from Mustangs to Fear, and I know we've communicated back and forth on it. And I watched the video from Mustangs to Fear, and they show them putting in that roll bar in I believe, a '68 fastback. And the roll bar is supposed to be, well, somewhat of a bolt in, somewhat of a weld in, and the 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 bar, it's like a sort of fit. I don't know what it is with some of these products. Mustangs to Fear, they've got a reputation to uphold and try to maintain. And the problem I'm running into, like I can turn this a little bit and show you the roll bar. I posted some pictures on Facebook, and Charles and I have talked about it, and he sent me some pictures of where it's supposed to be fore and aft in the on top of the torque boxes. Well, that's all well and good, except that bar, the brackets are welded on. One side is correct, and the other side is 3/4 of an inch off. I'm not making that up. And I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you get that far off. This should be built on a jig. You should not have to go, wait a minute, something's off. Why is this off? The problem you run into, in this case, if I have the bar sitting on the torque boxes, basically where they're at right now, and there's two perches up on top where you can put a 4-point harness in, the driver's side harness is sitting about 5/8 of an inch higher than the passenger side. So if you were to weld this in and look at it and eyeball it from front to rear, it's actually crooked. And so there's got to be something going on, some mistake that was made. I don't know exactly, but it's very frustrating. Again, you expect to have these parts come in from these well-known manufacturers, especially somebody like Mustang to Fear, who promote their products and they show nice stuff. But however, I will say this: years ago when I did the Brooklyn Pony, I put in their front frame rail stiffeners. They go underneath the side of the aprons. In this case, we had the Mustang 2 suspension, and so that's supposed to run forward and come down. It's really, what they sell is kind of like a pretend, in a way, kind of roll bar stiffener. It will stiffen somewhat, but the bar itself dead ends into the firewall. And whenever they sold that product, their instructions say just weld it to the firewall. That's all you got to do. And I was like, that ain't right. You need something there. So I ended up putting I think I put a plate or something. I modified the design. And, they looked at my video and they were like, oh, yeah, that's a better design. We're going to change it. So it would be nice, I think, in some respects, if they're, I don't know who, because sometimes you get people internally when you engineer something. And this could be in any industry. And everybody is on the same path. Like you say, I'm going to build this box and I want it to be this dimension and it needs to fit into this space or whatever. And everybody goes, yeah, that's a great idea. And then they build it and it fits that particular box that they designed it to. And then they mass produce it and somebody else gets it and they're like, well, wait a minute, my box is off a 1/4 inch. It won't fit anymore, right? Just as an example. So I think what they really should be doing is contacting people, maybe like me, maybe builders who are doing this sort of thing, and say, hey, we have a product we're going to try to put out. We want to send it to you. see what you can find wrong with it, and give us some feedback. But they don't. I think they're all in that same box, in that same room, patting each other on the back and saying, this is a great idea. But they don't get that outside influence. And so I think that becomes a problem down the road. Like in this case, something isn't right. And what it's very frustrating, just very frustrating. We'll get it figured out, but we shouldn't have to figure it out, is what I'm saying. Uh, Roger says Simone gas is cheaper than SoCal if math is correct. That it probably is. Southern Cal is crazy. Nick, I don't know. I was busy today with my bicep at the doctor's office. I found out where it is tomorrow. I have them putting the side glass in, and they were having issues with the exterior door handles. Well, sorry to hear that. Hope they can figure that out. That's one of those things where I don't know what was used, if it was original doors or aftermarket. Again, the whole test fit thing, but hopefully they can figure it out and it's nothing complicated. Colin, hey everybody, thanks for the help last week. New springs being delivered tomorrow. That is good to hear. That is good to hear. Okay, Simone says that she sent a photo of the motor after the refurb, but I don't see that. It's not showing up. I don't know where it's at. Maybe it'll show up. Maybe it has to go up, bounce off a couple satellites first. Nick, they're kind of doing more for me since my arm is messed up. I'm still going to put finishing touches on it myself. Okay. Well, that's a good thing, I guess. Depends how they're treating all that. Colin, ooh, I wish gas that was that low for me. And he says I'm at $3.95. Yeah. Well, $3.95 is still better than California. Put it that way. So. Simone, I'm not sure if we have the same size liter as you. I know gallons are different. No, a liter's a liter. As far as I know, I don't think there's any variation. I know, obviously, there's a difference between liters and quarts and stuff like that, but a gallon is a gallon and a liter is a liter. I don't think there's any variation there. Dr. Chris Helton, maybe just a bad cut. Usually ordered parts aren't off that bad. That's a possibility. Welcome, Dr. Chris Helton. Haven't seen that name before. Glad you're here. Dave Tyson, Joe Daddy can fix. Yeah, but he shouldn't have to. That's the thing. Nick, the Boss braces I made do pretty much the same thing they're trying to accomplish and are way lighter and out of the way. Yep. Yeah, I don't understand. Like I said, they should have. I don't know. Get some outside influence on some of this stuff. Dr. Chris, quality control seems to be lacking. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Nick, this one-piece headliner is an amazing product from Mustangs to Fear. Yeah, that I have heard. I would like to put one in something, but I just haven't had the chance. And Nick, they figured it out. It was a rod. That mistake. Oh God, bet. Oh, you're killing me, Nick. They figured it out. It was a rod. I guess got bent in shipping. Okay, we'll just go with that. And it says must have. Okay. Ed, I'm glad I was able to install an overdrive in the Ranchero. It does make a difference. Oh, that sounds like a positive for sure. Rick Stevenson, I just filled up today at $3.41. Well, that's not bad. And 1 gallon is 3.8 liters. Yes. Thank you, Rick. And also, I was rewatching old Brooklyn Pony videos last night. Lots of good information in those videos. Yeah. And I mentioned this in the last video that I posted. I may be doing a reboot of some of my older videos. There's a lot of good information out there, and unless somebody is somewhat specifically searching for those, they may not find them. So I may reboot, re-edit, and reboot some of those older videos to get them back up in the algorithm. Let's say, see how that goes. Okay, I have some other news. Some other news. Um, there's probably at this point I'm going to say 95 to 100% sure that I found myself another Mustang. you know, you look on Marketplace and stuff pops up. And I think it was late last year that light blue Mustang popped up. And this one right here, and it was it was too cheap to not buy. You know how that is, just too cheap to not buy. Um, and I like the 68s, I really do. Here's Jade, if it'll pop up. You know, Jade. I really do like the 68s. Um, but I will say I have a certain soft spot for the 69 Mach 1s. And after working on Slither, I'm getting more of a longing for one of those. And I had somebody contact me from the live stream. He actually lives down the road, and he had sent me some pictures of a '69 Sport Roof. It's not a Mach 1, and I looked at that car, and it's going to need a lot of work. It is, but it's not what I'm looking for. If that makes sense. I know that I've said it before. My dad had the '69 Mach 1, Acapulco blue, all that stuff, and it was just always out of my reach, let's say, to have it. And I've been looking for one for basically years, and I'm hoping that I finally found one to fill the gap. Now, this card popped up on Marketplace, and I just I was like, you know, that sounds like a good deal, a good price. So I'm going to show you some pictures of this, just to show you what's available, what's out there. So here, this is the driver's side, uh, shock tower, aprons, all that stuff, and you can see, I can see there's nothing wrong with any of that. It's in fantastic shape. Come over to this side. There's the driver or passenger side, and I'm not going to be 100% confident that that battery tray doesn't have issues, but everything else looks fantastic on this car. So there are some work has been done to the car. Um, driver side quarters or quarter both quarters were cut off, and they probably shouldn't have been. They weren't bad enough to be cut off, from what I understand. But look at that. There's just a little pocket of rust down at the bottom of the drop off panel on the driver's side. Here is the floor pan, and that's original metal. And I talked to the guy on the phone. He said there's nothing there. There's no rust in it. He sent me a variety of pictures, and that I believe that's all original metal and solid. Um, he also sent me some other pictures. So the quarters that were bought for this car were the ones with they had before they made the full quarters like Dynacorn with the pocket for the air vent thing. So this guy had bought these quarters with, I guess, a cutout where you would go around the air vent, which I'm not too worried about that. Um, Deck lid. There's the driver's door is gray, and there's a brand new driver's door. But I look at the driver's door and I see a little bit of rust in the front and rear corners. I would much rather keep that driver's door than try to use the aftermarket. We all know how that is. Um, Along with that comes some goodies. So there is apparently a full disc brake kit, brake booster, valve covers, suspension parts, calipers, a brand new steering wheel. I just noticed earlier today there's at least I'm assuming both mirrors, but I see one mirror in a box there in primer. I'm guessing tie rod ends, and there's brake pads and all kinds of stuff. And apparently, I didn't post all the pictures. I think he said there's a new front spoiler, a new wing, the short wing on the back, because even the deck lid has the holes in it. You can see in that picture they have the holes uh, for the little wing. And what else was there? Oh yeah, yeah. Let me show you this. It has one of these. Oh yeah, look at that. It's a Cleveland. So it comes with a 351 Cleveland and a 351 Windsor motor and two transmissions. So it's like, yeah, yeah. This has to be on my list of things. Now, the big question is, what does it look like overall? Let me show you. You ready? So that's the car. That is the car. It's got the Magnum 500 wheels on it, which is a big plus. Um, Quarters, again, that's all minor stuff. There is a little bit of rust. I don't have the picture up here. Um, in the rear quarter, the transition panel from the deck lid to the back glass, like down in the corner, is just a little section where it's got pinholes in it. And then there was like a couple other little spots that I saw those pictures. I'm like, yeah, I I got to get that car. I got to get that car. So um, the plan is probably going to be picking it up not this coming weekend, but next weekend. Roger and I are going to make a trip and go get this thing, and I'm pretty excited about it. The car has a title, good title, and from what I've been told, it's good possibility it's Wimbledon white with black interior, and I'm okay with that. You know how it is. I like to do the factory colors. Um, Now, whether it stays Wimbledon white, I don't know, but it might, because I was looking at pictures of Wimbledon white Mustangs, and they are pretty sharp. They are pretty sharp. So, yeah, I'm I'm ready to go get it. I'm ready to go get it. I know that um, I've been, like I said, I've been looking, and I just needed to find the right one in at the right price, and this I think meets my requirements. I've talked to him on the phone several times. We've already agreed that the car is mine, and we just have to get it, get together and get it out of there. So um, I'm excited. You can tell, right? I'm like all excited. Okay, let's see what else is going on. Gene, would you entertain an update video on my project? First one was about 3 years ago. Definitely, definitely send me a viewer's project update. That would be awesome. Simone says, we used to use gallons, but some idiot changed it. Yeah, yeah, can't help you there. So sorry. Of course, the USA is the only country that says, oh, we don't do metric. Leave us alone. Everybody else's metric system. And we're like, nah, we're going to leave it gallons and inches and all that stuff. You can just leave us alone. Charles' current tire choice is an Alturo P315 40R18, which is 27.9 tall and 12.6 wide. The difficulty is finding the right rim. I'd like an 18 by 11 Magnum 500. Ooh, yeah. I don't know if they make those, but that would be sharp. I like the sounds of that. Michael, I used Mustang to fuse submarine connectors on my wife's 65. They fit great. Maybe you got one built on a Friday. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. 68 Orange Crate looks like the right shock tower was cut for grease fittings. Would you just patch it? Yes. Yeah. Let me see if it shows that. The right shock tower? I can't tell by the picture. Oh yeah, I see that now. Yep. I would make a patch for that and fill it in. I would fill that in. Um, Simone says that looks fantastically solid. I agree. And this guy that I talked to, he had his own body shop. He built Mustangs, but he built like 71 2 and 3 models. That was his thing. And as I'm talking to him, he said he bought this car because it was so solid, and it was taken apart 17 years ago. 17 years ago, and somebody, his cousin or somebody, had it media blasted, put it in primer, and then he started cutting off stuff like the quarter panels, thinking that they needed to be replaced, when really it could have been probably just a small patch and been done with it. Um, but he said he doesn't like to do sheet metal. It's not his thing, and that's why he's kind of just, it's been sitting at his place for 4 years, and he said he just kind of kept passing over it because he doesn't do sheet metal. And I'm like, yeah, sheet metal. That's all. Yep, that's me. Bring it to me. So, yeah, I'm very excited about it. Nick says Cleveland. I'm telling you. Yeah, I know, Nick. I know. I know. We'll see. We'll see. No promises. I may just have to sell the Cleveland. Make some money back on it. Maybe. Jerry says, well, if you think $3 a gallon is good, then you must be acclimated to the Bidenomics. $4 a gallon gas is the evidence of a failed government. Yeah, I won't argue that. Evan, I'm excited. It looks like a great project. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Colin, I traded my Cleveland for a 428, needed to be completely rebuilt, and was around the same cost to rebuild as was to buy the 428. Okay. And Dave, are you still sleeping in the house? Yeah. Yeah. Orange Crate, we're all here because we're Mustangaholics. Yes. Yes. We needed some sort of a saying, some sort of a chant for the Mustangaholics. Nick says Forge Line makes a Magnum 500-ish style wheel. Okay. Rick says U.S. gallon and imperial gallon are not the same. Don't remember what the difference is. Just know that they are different. Yeah, if it says imperial on it, just ignore that. Just no, I don't want that. Only U.S. gallons matter. Nick says Detroit Speed put 19-inch version on, and I think 20 on the 70 Mustang they did. That is yeah, that's a big wheel. All right, so I've got some Simone's pictures finally came through. Okay, let me get some of these. Okay, she sent that twice because it didn't come through the first time. So I'm going to pull up some pictures here in just a second. I have to get rid of some pictures as well before I can actually add any others, just the way it is. Don't know what that one is, so it's got to go. All right. So I think this is the wiper motor from Simone. Yep. Oh, wow. That looks really nice. That's well done. Great job, Simone. That looks like new. Let's see if I can get this next picture up. This was a 68 Mustang that was sent in from Colin. Yeah. The only thing I really do like that, and it looks cool being basically in a stock appearance. But you can almost go, gosh, if the tires in the back were just 2 inches wider, how much meaner would that look? But it is a good looking car. It is a good looking car. That's for sure. And then I have another one I think Nick sent me talking about I think the Detroit Speed car. Yeah, yeah, that's a lot of tire under there. I don't know why that picture's so blurry, unless it's just blurry because no, it should be clear. It's a small picture. Okay, it's a very small picture. So when the program blew it up, man, that's a lot of meat under that back. Whew. Those are cool looking wheels though. Yeah. Thanks, Nick. Um, so Michael says, looks like it would make a nice pro tour car. Yeah, it just might. You never know. Rick, what will the name of the new car for the new car be? That'll have to be decided upon. That'll have to be decided upon. I'll have to come up with something good for that. But yeah, that'll be later. That'll be later. Evan, here's a question. I know welding galvanized, you got to be careful about fumes. What about welder setting? Seems to weld hotter, more prone to blow through. Yeah, it is a lot more difficult to weld, but I can't tell you exactly what I do. It's kind of like when Roger and I went racing, and he would say, "What's the car doing?" And I'd say, "I don't know. I'm just making it do what I want it to do, throwing it in the turns." So it's kind of like that when I'm welding. I just kind of the instinctively know whether I can sense when it's about to burn through or something like that, and I back off and maybe come back in. Stop the weld and just let it cool a second and come back in. So stuff like that. But yeah, it's difficult uh, to weld that and galvanize. And of course, I try to keep a fan blowing gently behind me to kind of blow the fumes away as well. Nick, I actually have a name for my car now. Okay. Well, we're not going to guess it. We're not going to be able to guess it. And Nick says, looks great, Simone. Yes, I agree. Rusty, you can always find a place for another Mustang to park. Yeah, well, yeah. I really do need to get rid of at least one, if not two more cars. Yeah. And I know I've talked about it before. I do want to, I do, but I don't. But I need to sell Jade. Um, yeah, I can't keep a fleet. I can't keep a fleet. Yep, Simone says thank you to Nick. Bob, late again. Some Okies just don't know how to drive. Glad to hear, Bob. Steve Willette. Glad to hear, Steve. Hope all is well with you. Simone, the green Mustang is gorgeous. I want one. Yep, they're out there, but they're not cheap anymore. That's for sure. Colin, couldn't agree more with wider tires. As my friends who bought it in '69, sold it in '70, and rebought it a few months ago. All original minus new carpet last month. Ooh, man, I'm sure the price was a lot different from what he sold it for, and what obviously what he had to pay for it. Okay, so I have some other. Wait a minute. Let me make sure I don't close out the wrong thing. I've got some other pictures that I need to download here in just a second. The hard part is, which ones do I want to get rid of? Because they're always such good pictures. We'll get rid of those. And this is some fat tires fit under this car. This is from Rusty's restoration. Yeah, that's that's pretty big tires under there. And then he also sent another picture with the roll bar cut off of this convertible. Yep. Yeah, that's not stock. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. All right. Terry Keithley. Evening Barry. Evening Barry. So to be late. Oh, sorry to be late, I guess. Out in garage playing with the new toys. Please hit like and thumbs up. Yes, thank you, Terry. Rick says, what about White Dave for the new car? No, it'd have to be something better than that. It may not even have to have a color associated with it. It may just have to be something completely different. We'll find out. Evan, cheers all. Have a great night. Thanks, Barry. You're welcome, Evan. Glad you're here. Rusty, okay, sent a pic of the bar cut off. Yep. Crash Rider, hey, a good name for your car would be Big D. That would be D for divorce. No. No. Simone says, good night, everyone. Getting close to 1 a.m. here. Have a good evening. All right. Thank you. Here. Glad you're here, Simone. Have a good night. Nick, what's everyone doing for insurance? I did a Haggerty quote, and it is almost as much as my 2 trucks insurance. I see there's a subsidiary of Progressive. Guess I'll call into bundle maybe. Yeah, I don't know what the rates, where you're at on. I know your car's not. It's more valuable probably than the stuff that I have, or at least what you'll insure it for more. But I currently have Haggerty on Jade and the Model A. I have it on those 2 cars, and I know my premium is 300 and I don't know 300 a year, something like that, 350 a year. So. Suburban Hooligan. No, that's pro street status. Yes, that is. Welcome, Suburban. Nick, the thing that has got the meats, Arby's wants to have a talk. That thing has got the meats, is what he's saying. I read that wrong. Yeah, Arby's wants to have a talk. Yeah. Rusty's new wheels and tires coming soon. Okay. Well, then what are you going to do with the old ones? Those look pretty decent. If you want, you can just drop them off here and I'll take care of them. Richard says, roar, evening all. Glad you're here, Richard. Orange Crate. I use Grundy Insurance on 3 cars. Yeah, I have not checked with Grundy to see what what kind of rates they offer, but probably worth checking into. Steve Reed, late, but I'm here. Well, that counts too. Glad you're here, Steve. And Nick, did you say $350 a year? What did you value it at? Well, I probably should up the value on Jade, but I have the Model A at $25,000 and I have Jade at $25,000 right now. That's where they're at, and yeah, it's like 3. I just paid it this past month. It's not 400. I know that. It's like maybe $350 a year is all I'm paying on both of them right now. Richard, I used to do replacement value on cars that mattered. Do not do full coverage. It isn't full value for a classic. Okay. You used to do replacement value on cars that mattered. Do not do full coverage. So you're saying if you're going to select insurance, put down a replacement value as your number, not what they would pay for full coverage. Is that what I'm saying? Is that what you're saying? Because I know I have listed the value of those 2 cars at $25,000 a piece, and that's probably low on the Mustang. That's probably high on the Model A, because the Model A's, they're not bringing. I mean, original car, they're not bringing that kind of money. It's just nobody really cares enough to do that with them. So, the Model A, I could probably have it insured for 15, but I have it at 25. Um, and I don't know. I've seen really nice, really nice Model A's selling for 15, 16, 17, 18,000. So it's just the way it is. It's kind of like, when I talk about Studebaker, you there's not the niche of people is getting smaller that appreciates the Studebaker, and so there's not like a big demand for buying these things that are all fully decked out and customized. There are several that are on like Facebook Marketplace right now. There's a car that's basically a twin of my brother's car, except for it's all there. It's nice, super clean car, mag wheels, everything on it, ready to go. But it's painted black. I think it had black interior. Nice, clean, really clean car, and it's selling for like they're asking 15,000 for it. So, I'll have I'll probably have more than that just in parts to put the, well, I hope not, but I mean, it's easy. I could have that much just in parts on that car, getting it back together. So, but the Model A, here's something else too you don't think about. At least I've recently thought about it. The um, the Model A is soon going to be 100 years old. It's soon going to be 100 years old. That is hard to imagine. That this car that was built in 1930, 31, we're not that far away from being 100 years old. The Model A itself, the series ran 28 to 31 of that body design, that basic design. 28 and 29 were the same, 30 and 31 were pretty much the same. But we're almost at 100 years for the 28 version of the Model A, which is just crazy. Rusty says those wheels are off his 65. Okay. What's your Nick says, what's your Grundy run, if you don't mind me asking, Orange Crate? And Richard, yes, your value or a pro's valuation. Full coverage insurance on a 1974 Chevy that they will try to cut you a check for $250. That's a very accurate statement. That's exactly right, because they look at it as what it would be potentially worth based on their numbers and charts and all that junk, not what you have invested in it. So that's a very valid point. It's funny. We did a 66 Charger fastback at our body shop years ago. I've talked about this before, but it was a joint effort between our shop and the North Georgia Mopar Club. The idea was we were putting this car together for a soldier, active duty soldier. He had gone off, was overseas, and he couldn't put the car together. His parents had actually contacted us about just throwing a quickie paint job on it, just something to make it look decent, so when he came back, he'd want to be involved with it. And it ended up snowballing. And the North Georgia Mopar Club got involved, rebuilt the engine, transmission, all new brake lines, all new this, all new that. They went overboard on the whole project. When it was finished, now granted, the 66 Charger fastback is, it's basically a Coronet kind of body, shape, but with a fastback roof on it. It's okay. There's not a huge demand on those things, but there was, tons and tons of new parts. So they went and had a professional do an evaluation for the insurance on it. And that guy came back and said, well, this car would be $100,000 to replace. That's what he told him. It would be $100,000 to replace it the way it is right now. And they were like, what? because they had no idea, and that's just what his professional assessment was. Now, the reality is you're never going to get that kind of money out of a '66 Charger fastback unless it's like a Ken Diggett car or some super high end build that's way over the top. But this was a driver type of car, and they put it at a super high valuation. Now, whether they insured it for that, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it's a big difference between what the book says, the value, versus what your actual value is. Here's a very valid point for that as well. Here in the state of Georgia, we pay ad valorem tax. Now, when you get your tag, the old system was if you had a vehicle that was, let's just say a '72 Chevy pickup, they would put a valuation on it based on what it was, whatever the value was back then, and then minus all the depreciation or whatever. So, like in the old system, you might pay $25 for your sticker if you had a half-ton pickup, and that would be everything for the tag. But if you had like a bigger truck, like a farm truck, it would cost more because it's a bigger vehicle, higher load ratings and stuff like that. So, like, I had my '69 Camaro, and at the time the value on that was about probably 20 grand, somewhere in that range, because it was just the early 2000s. And I went to pay the tag on it, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that'll be $25." Well, that's because their valuation is just at the bottom of the barrel because it's an old vehicle. Those people don't even know what they're looking at in the tag office. I said it's a '69 Camaro. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. Here's your cost. Now they've changed it to where that money is paid like you would pay that every year. Well, now they've changed it to where it's paid up front. This is where they really rip you off. This is going down a rabbit hole right here. So let's say, like my GMC truck, I paid all the ad valorem up front at one time, which was nothing. I mean, it was like $100 maybe, and every year the tag is $20. There is basically no tax on it. $20, $20, $20. Now let's say you buy a 2020 truck, just as an example, 2020 truck, and it's valued at, the dealer sells it for 50 grand or whatever it is. They value that, they take that 50 grand number and they charge you about $3,000 in ad valorem tax before you can get the tag for it. But here's the real catch. Let's say you bought that thing and you paid that ad valorem tax. In my mind, that ad valorem tax should be paid in full for the life of that vehicle, right? Nope. If you sell that truck to your neighbor the next year and the value is at $47,000 or $46,000, guess what? He's going to pay close to $2,500 or $3,000 for that same vehicle. That is wrong. But that is how they're cashing in now. They don't care about you having that old vehicle with no value to it. They just want to look at, go ahead and sell it. Yeah, sure. Next person that buys it, they got to pay all that tax again and again and again and again. Yeah. Sorry. Let me step off my stool for a second. Makes me mad. Ray Buckman, I'm halfway there with my Corvette in November, evening, Barry, and all. Glad you're here, Ray. Halfway there with my Corvette. Okay. Or you're halfway done with your Corvette, I guess. Robert, those wheels are off at 65. The 66 will need wheels one of these days. Yeah, you definitely will need wheels for that. Charles, yep, a Ken Diggett, Chip Foose, or a Joe Daddy. Well, I don't think I'll ever get that status, but thank you. Richard, an old customer of mine, paid his full coverage premium on a '69 Ford. He had the car's full life. When it got crashed in 2006, they tried to give him a payoff of $350. He kept it and rebuilt it. Yep. Yep. And Richard says it took him months to keep them from totaling it. Yeah, they don't really care. They just don't. The whole system is rigged. It's just like we can. The rabbit hole. It's over here. Take the red pill. Um, it's like paying taxes on stuff. Somebody buys something, they pay taxes on it. That place takes the money. They go buy something, they pay taxes on that money. We're renting it. We're renting money is what it comes down to. And these, like the whole ad valorem thing, is just a scam. It is just a scam. Don't I got to step off my box because Rick said preach it, and I can't. I got to stop. Ed, tax for my 66 in California is 165 per year. I'm sure they put the money to good use. I'm sure they do, Ed. I'm sure they do. Yeah, it helps pay down the taxes on the fuel, right? Ray Buckman says 50 years. Sorry. Oh, you're talking about the Corvette. Okay, got it. Got it. Um, I lost. I had another thought going on that. I had another thought. Yeah. Now I'm all flabbergasted. Where am I at? Dawn. Hello, folks. Late as usual from Wet PDX. Well, glad you're here, Dawn. We're talking about the government taking advantage of us and taking all our money. Colin, have a good night. See you all next Monday. Oh, sorry to run you off, Colin. Nick says, I feel like I hit a nerve barrier. Sorry about that. Yeah. Well, I think we all have that same thought. It's all, yeah. Yeah, tax you here, tax you there. Everywhere, tax. Yeah. Richard, sorry, sir. I will bury that rabbit hole. Well, it's true, though. It's true. There's all this stuff that they're taking revenue or some, well, let's just say they're printing more and more money and just throwing it overseas to try to appease the masses over there. Yeah, no, I'll stop it. I gotta get out of there. Gotta get off that. Hey, I can see the veins pumping under his hat. Yeah. Okay, let me get off of that. Get away from that. What was it? Christmas Vacation. Chevy Chase goes off on his rant, and where's the Tylenol? Oh yeah. Okay. Calm. Dawn says, glad I missed it. Yeah, well, Dawn, we were just talking about ridiculous taxes on vehicles for no reason. And also how the insurance companies will set their own value on your classic car, even though you have a value of 50 grand if you put full coverage on it and it gets wrecked, then they're going to want to pay you the bare minimum instead of what you know that it's worth. So stuff like that gets us irritated. Gets me irritated anyway. Okay, so there were some other things. Obviously, other plans going on. We've got some materials coming up for the Slither project. I still have to get the passenger side wheelhouse cut out, get all that put back together. And I know that we're gonna, Charles is gonna come up and we're gonna talk about some things and how we're gonna approach it and try to get that addressed. I think the passenger side wheelhouse will be a lot easier, in effect, than the driver's side where they had, the frame rail and the drop-off panel were so close to each other. So this side should go a lot better. The other things, I've got to make a closer look at the frame connectors. So when those go in, I've already kind of done some test fitting, had it up in place on the driver's side, and trying to determine if I could put that in before the new frame rails go, or the replacement frame rails go in themselves, because there's multiple pieces. So you have the the floor support, and then the frame rail sits inside of that, and then the frame connector comes up over that. So I just have to be, again, test fit, right? Make sure everything is going to interact with each other. So if you were to put the frame connector up over the floor support, you might not have access to weld in the frame rail correctly. So that's something else I have to get more test fitting done on to make sure it's going to work. Let's see. Been gone. Oh, Gene says been gone for a while. Any Bronco updates? You know what? He sent me some pictures that he has the interior in it. He had a few issues with something with the floor pan, like the shop that built the thing. They didn't fully weld the floor pan where they meet behind the seat. So there's a shelf there, and he was working on it, and all of a sudden it kind of went pop, separated. And he doesn't know what's going on with that. But I know he got the interior in it. He has some other things going on with his other Bronco, but yeah, it's looking really good. It's looking really good. Hopefully, I can get something going on with the get some video updates from him, and I can put something together. Ray, when is your jury duty? Trying to change the subject. Oh yeah, I'm not really upset. I'm just saying it's one of those things that just stews in the back of your mind. You're like, why am I paying this ridiculous tax? Actually, jury duty started today. Yeah. Now, we're going to see how the rest of the week goes. I did manage to get sent home early today, which was nice. And tomorrow, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, it continues that trend. But as it is, I was able to address some other things because it was scheduled off time, kind of in a way. And one of the things I had to address was my passport, because my wife and I are taking a trip next year, and it's going to be overseas, so we have to have our passports in place. And I was like, you know what? Let me take care of that. So I had to run around and get a picture taken and fill out all the forms and get my old passport and all that sort of thing. But here's the crazy thing about that. I know we all have. They tell you to go to like Walgreens or CVS or Staples or somewhere to get a picture taken, right? Just a simple picture. So I go to Walgreens, first nearby Walgreens, and I say, "Oh, I'm here for a passport photo." And they're like, "Oh, we don't know where our camera is." I'm like, "What? How do you not know where your camera is?" "Well, somebody misplaced it. We can't find it." Thinking, okay. So they tell me to go to the next Walgreens, which is only 2 miles up the road. I go to the next Walgreens, walk in there. "Hey, I need a passport photo." "Oh, yeah, our camera's broken." I'm like, "What do you mean your camera?" The other place just said they can't even find their camera. And they told them that management has sent them new cameras, but they don't work out of the box. Then she said, "Let me just tell you, go across the street to Staples. They'll do it for you." So, of course, I go over to Staples, boom, get it taken care of. So that's one thing off of my checklist for things that I have to have ready to go for next year. But, take advantage of the time when you can. And that's what I'm doing. Richard, like the progress on the Stang. Yes, I do too. And I'm looking forward to getting a lot more done on it. Once we get the wheelhouses taken care of and do a little more, again, test fitting and that sort of thing, we're going to deal with the paint on the quarter panels on the inside of the outside, let's say, of the inner structure, get that taken care of. But we also need to look at whether we're going to be doing mods to the outer wheelhouse. So it's kind of there's a lot of steps involved to get it where it needs to be, but it is making good progress. J.C. Meyer, on your 69 you're doing, at the bottom of the B pillar, there's an unwelded tab. It isn't solid all the way down to the rocker. You're going to cut that off and weld in a solid piece. let's see. At the bottom of the B pillar is an unwelded tab. Oh, it isn't solid all the way down to the rocker. No, what I've done is actually welded the rocker and in the top of the rocker, the pinch weld. I've welded that edge to the to the B pillar. So you're talking about, I think that area right there, where I'm pointing. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's a series of welds right there next to the roll bar. And if that's the area you're talking about, that's what I did. I put it in place and then welded on that edge. So, hope that answers your question. Good question, though. Dawn says, insurance, legal Ponzi scheme. You are right, sir. Yeah. Well, we were talking about your rent money. Oh, get me off that. I got to stop that. Okay, Jerry says, Terry Keithley, how about them Buckeyes? Brian, hi all, here but late, or but made it. Here late but made it. Okay, glad you're here, Brian. Richard, it's not a Ponzi, Don. It's embezzlement. Yeah. Yeah. That's probably more accurate. Okay. So, Don, I'm sorry. Hold on just a second. Charles has sent me another picture, and he says these are his. Let's see if it opens. He said these are his dream wheels for his for Slither. So let me pull that comment down just a second, and boom. Ah, those are cool. I don't know if I've ever seen wheels like that. That's a unique design. I'm really not familiar with that. It looks like a single. There's no lug nut, so it's got a single center piece, a wing nut. I've never seen wheels like that. It must be like on a Trans Am car or something. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. It says not Ponzi scheme. It's embezzlement or extortion. Yes, just like most insurance. Get me off of this boat, Randy. My '79 Mustang pace car plate is cheaper than my 50cc scooter that was free a few years ago. Yeah, glad you're here, Randy. Isaac, late to the party. Hope all is well. Southwest Florida. Glad you're here, Isaac. Brian B. I insure through Farmers for my daily and was talking to my agent about the Fairlane. Was surprised how reasonable a replacement coverage was. Well, as long as they're replacing it for actual value, not what they would consider a replacement. Just keep that in mind. Richard, in I guess Michigan, my Camaro's plate went into the historic vehicle era, and cost on that is cheap. Yep, that's good. Ray Buckman, regarding insurance, I can't even get collector car insurance through Grundy or Haggerty because my car is not in a garage. Yeah, that is very disappointing. Very disappointing. Nick, so why is he wanting to bulge the quarters if he's only putting 315s on it? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what fits. We'll see what fits. JC says no on the outside of the door jamb. Okay. I don't know. You have to look at my videos because I know that there's a section behind where the B pillar kicks out. I did weld the bottom of that, and there's another flange that comes back, and I welded that on. But it's welded all over, just like they kind of like they did at the factory. So I'm maybe confused by what you're seeing, but take a look at the videos that I put out on Slither. If that doesn't help, I don't know. Next says I think he's talking about at the bottom of the B pillar where the factory brazes it with bronze. You're talking okay. Oh, There's actually a flange on at least the new ones. There's a flange that goes back on this car. There's a flange there. Yeah, it's got a spot weld in the middle of it. So, if that's what we're talking about. Isaac says, second that motion, insurance is just going up. Yeah, they raised our regular insurance too on our property and all that. Nick says, I TIG brazed mine with silicone bronze. You can just weld them too. Yeah. JC Meyer, at the bottom where the B-pillar meets the outer rocker in the door jamb. Okay. Yeah, like Nick was saying, he welded his in with silicone bronze. I don't know that you really gain anything. You can weld it. Mine's welded on the backside where the spot weld is. I didn't put any braze back in there. But I can't say you're going to gain anything because that is a minimal side to side load that you'll probably never see an influence that way. So Terry's talking to Jerry, and Roger says Halibrands, love them. Nick says, yep, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. Michael, I think I am 2 videos behind on the cover build. Haven't had a lot of free time. Yeah, I understand that. Hooligan looks like a Lamborghini Mira wheel. Yeah, I can see that. Nick says, is that those one-off vintage wheels? I almost got a set when I was sticking to 15s. Doug says, MAGA hat equals no jury duty. Probably. Charles, 67 Fairlane, Steve Strope, 15-inch Lamborghini Mira style wheels, which were machined from solid billet by EVOD, $2,000 each. Ooh, okay. Custom. Those are nice, Charles. Those are nice, Charles. Yes, Nick. They are nice. They're definitely different. Definitely different. Hugh. Hello, Hugh. Welcome to the channel. New to your channel, live in West Marietta. Let's have coffee, latest project, 67 Mustang, Will Woods, 5-speed Tremac, Sniper, etc. I need your advice on body fit. Yeah, I know. I get that a lot. I get that a lot. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do this first, just because. Give me just 1 second. We're gonna get Robert on here too. Yeah, Nick says factory was brazed. Yes. And Ray Buckman asked if those are Halibrand. I think that's what Roger said, so we'll go with that. JC Meyer. Okay, mine just isn't solid. It's a tab. If I weld it down, there will be holes. Wish I could send a picture. Okay. I mean, you can weld it. You can actually, nice little weld in that corner and then grind it down some if you like. Or you can weld it, I don't know if you have access to the backside. You should have. You could weld it on the backside and just kind of fill it in with seam sealer at the front just to blend it in. Nick says, I just did it to prevent cracks since I have a lot of stress or will have a lot of stress on my chassis. Almost everything is brazed for that reason. Okay, good. Charles, it's not just the 315s. The aspect ratio and rim size also plays a part. These tires are 27.9 inches tall and almost 13 inches wide. That's huge. Yeah. Nick says, I have 315s on mine with the same tubs. That's good to know. That is good to know. Nick, you can go up to 335. The height would have to do more with the ride height and rounded part of the tub. Yep. And that is something, one thing I'm looking at doing, I probably haven't mentioned this much, but the outer wheelhouse where it comes over and then it kind of dips out to the outside. There's a gap between the top portion of the wheelhouse and the quarter panel. And somebody else had mentioned that as well. They saw, I don't know if they saw one of my videos or on Facebook or something, and they said the problem we run into is that space because the tire may fit the bottom edge, but where the wheelhouse it comes over quite a bit. So what I'm looking at doing possibly if we don't do something widening or come up with another variation, I'm thinking about taking the leftover part of what would have been the Dynacorn inner wheelhouse and making a piece that would allow the outer to work so that it would create a bigger pocket up there using that piece. So just something I'm stirring around in my head. Richard at Hugh says test fit. Yep, always test fit. Nick, 18 by 11s and up to 8 by 12 should be no problem. Okay. And he says fit. And he says, yeah, that's the part exactly you need to pocket it for extra tall tires. Yeah. And so there's some thought processes going on. Again, it's that creating that area for the tire to go into. So, hey, we've got Robert on hold. Let's go ahead and see what he's working on in his nice, cool shop. Right?
It's cooler. Let's put it that way.
Cooler. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that
Mini
one right
split.
up there. Little mini split up there.
Yep.
It's not enough for the building. I've still got my 2-ton window unit over here,
Yeah.
but it was when you look at the price of them and it's like they cost X amount per ton. Whether you buy a 1 ton, a 1.5, a 2 ton, a 5 ton, you're going to pay X amount per ton, no matter
Right.
what. So normally you buy stuff. Oh, you get the bigger one, it's cheaper, but it doesn't work that way in these things. So it's just like I wanted something to help out in here, so I just like I'll go with that one. Put that one down there, and eventually I'll probably put like a little bit bigger one on this end, and then I can get rid of that window unit eventually.
Well, it looks like you're
Uh,
not sweating.
yeah, it's actually not bad up there. Actually cooled off a little bit. I mean, we're still going to be in the mid 90s, but at least we are starting to cool off at night some more now, so it's not as bad.
Yeah, it's like 70 in here right now. So
Well, mine up there says 87 in here, and I
that's
started the air. Well, and then the nice part is I can take my phone and I could just turn the air conditioner on.
that's a big plus.
Yeah, or I can tell it to, you know, get the shop ready, and
Yeah.
it turns the lights on, turns that, and then when I'm done, I can just say, hey, I'm going in, and everything turns off.
No, you can't beat that.
Yeah,
That
those little toys are getting to be fun to play with.
yeah, until they don't. Until they don't work. That's the
It,
thing.
it still has a remote.
Yeah. Well, that's all I ever use out here. I know mine has Wi-Fi.
Hmm.
I just I just okay. Go make
And,
some coffee, have something to eat, come back
well,
out.
then the worst case is I can reach up there, hit the button. You know.
Yeah, I can't reach the button. There is no button on mine.
Well, it's funny is my window unit over there. I can't use the button on it. It's never worked. Even from when it was like a damaged box one to start with at Depot years ago,
Yeah.
and the button never, unless you really push hard at the right angle, it just,
Oh yeah.
I've always had to use the remote on it.
Yeah. Charles says one thing is for sure, Barry and I will get a huge tire under it. We have plans. Yep.
Yeah, that's going to look really good. And the picture you had of the quarter panel for your thumbnail,
Yeah.
the 69 quarter panel to me is probably the best looking one of the Mustangs.
Yep.
I just look at that quarter panel. I like the looks of it, and I like when you come around to the back, you got that nice big flat, a
Yep.
big flat area in the back. That just to me looks good.
Yeah. Oh, so we had somebody complaining already. Oh, geez, this guy.
Yeah, I know. I could have left her at the train station
He
today.
could have. Shannon Vaughn. Hello from Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Got here late. I just got through mowing the lower 40. Hope you're doing good. I haven't seen that name before. Glad to hear Shannon. Hope all is well. Um, yeah, I agree. The way that quarter is shaped and everything,
Hmm.
they nailed it. I mean, it's you look at the growth of the car. 64, 5, 6, a
Hmm.
little bit smaller.
Hmm.
Um, more to me, more like a Falcon. I mean, body
Oh yeah,
wise.
yeah. Well, that's where
Um,
it started life as. Yeah.
and then 67 and 8 got a little bit bulkier, even though they shared the same
Hmm.
wheelbase. They got bulkier. And then of course
Hmm.
the 69, they were like, let's fine tune all these little
Hmm.
things and make it really nice. And that's what they did. Now the 70, it is nice. It
Hmm.
isn't a cool looking car, but it's still the 69 has the four headlights, the air vents, the
Yeah.
air, just they nailed it. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll agree that of those, I like the '69 the most. But it's interesting to look at all of them. Once you get all, basically once you get all the clothes off of it, and you start looking at the base of the vehicle, and then you really start looking at how similar. There really wasn't, at the very
Yeah.
base, there wasn't, much changed over those years. It's like, okay, well, we'll add a little here, we'll do this a little bit there. There weren't any. None of it was major changes underneath.
No, no, it was all still the same basic floor pan, the
Hmm.
same frame rails, all that stuff. They just, you know,
Hmm.
tweaked it around. So now Richard says 69 is where they use the engineers to tune for road racing.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that was a big deal in Trans Am racing and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, you know, getting all competing with that stuff.
Well, then the stuff that they did on that, you can take back to the even the first gens, and still take some of the mods they use for the later ones and change that and put that on the early ones, because again, it's not that much different.
Yeah. Charles says his mini split, his 24 by 28 garage, 9-foot ceilings doesn't cut it. After 15 hours, it only got down to 80 degrees from a start of 96. Going to get a bigger unit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, mine, this is 20 by 40, and it's metal building. So, I mean, you could see I'm putting two by fours up and adding more insulation.
Yeah.
I'm hoping by the time I'm done that, say, 2 tons will do it. I'm hoping. I don't know, but I would err on the side of saying 3 tons, because the normal calculations show for where I am anywhere from 5 to 8 tons of air conditioning for this size building here,
Oh,
because
okay.
of the construction type.
Yeah,
Had
that's
it been
true.
a stuck like yours, it would be much less. It's just because of the type of building it is.
Yeah. Nick says 70 is my favorite, I guess, year. Somebody has a 69 now, and it's his baby. I don't have a 69 yet, but it will. I
Well, I'm
will.
looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to you
Oh,
getting it.
yeah, me too. I mean, like I said, I've been kind of well. I've been looking. I would have loved to have found my actual dad's 69 and gotten a hold
Hmm.
of it. There's no way that's going to happen. We don't have anything to track to get that. I've done searches. I've done all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's not going to
Yeah.
happen. So I can do this one, and like I said, if it is Wimbledon white, I might be okay with that. Um, I like the Acapulco blue, but I don't know. I like the originality of some of this stuff too.
Hmm.
Um, and you don't see like I never saw until last year a black 69 Mach 1. Never saw one. And I was at a cruise in
Hmm.
and I saw a black one and I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Hmm.
Everything just popped on that car. It was
Hmm.
gorgeous. So even though we have that image, let's say you see a lot of blue ones, right? You do
Yeah.
because a lot of
Yeah.
people have ordered those in blue. You may see the oddball yellow one something once in a while.
Hmm.
I can say I've never seen a white one. I've never seen a Wimbledon white 69.
I can't think of one.
You know,
I really can't.
I think we see blue. Well, of course now the black jade, which is what I think it's the color was what
Hmm.
Slither was. Even though you don't see that very often, I don't.
Yeah.
But it's like you maybe see a red one or something. But it seems like
Yeah.
the bulk of them are blue.
Yeah. And it's like, with the fives and sixes, it seems like everybody's got a red one.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't ever want to see a red one ever again.
Nope. Nope. I don't want to see a red. I don't care for red
No,
at
I
all.
just, and it's like my dad and I, when we go to car shows and stuff like that, we get to the point where we just keep walking right by them because, like, oh, it's another red Mustang.
Well, I've said it
Looks like the
before.
one next to it.
I've been to big shows where this is 25 years ago. 57 Chevys were the big thing,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So here's a hard top, here's a convertible, here's a hard top, here's a convertible, here's two hard tops, another blah blah blah.
Yep.
Every one of them was red.
And yeah, and that's why car shows were for a long time. It was either red Mustangs or red Tri Fives,
Yeah,
and it's just like,
I
okay,
didn't
I've
want to
seen
look
enough
at them.
of them. I want to see something weird, you know,
Yeah.
something out
Well,
of the ordinary.
don't careful. Look up unicorn Mustang if you want to see something weird. Look up unicorn Mustangs. Mark
Okay,
my word.
okay,
There's a unicorn Mustang out there that will go what? Yeah. It was a charity car they painted up. Yeah, just
okay.
yeah, unicorn
Okay.
Mustang. So I don't know what Nick is saying. He says something about whoa, whoa with the clothes striping Robert.
Probably something about it being hot here all the time.
Oh, okay. Oh, stripping, clothes stripping. Sorry, I read that wrong. Richard, the installation will help more than you think, Robert. Yep.
Yeah, like I said, it's already insulated, but with all the steel framing there, that's right against crushing the insulation against the outer skin. So
Yep.
those are 110-degree radiators in here. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm covering up essentially.
Terry Keith says, Robert, where is your Buckeye flag for the shop?
I don't have one because I don't have any kind of football flags because I don't like football.
Yeah.
I I am an equal opportunity. I am not interested in sports when it comes to football, baseball, basketball, and none of that. Now
Unless,
that is my Greek flag here. I do need a U.S. flag. I need it, but I want a. That's my temporary Greek flag because it's a Chinese made one. It's not a real Greek made one, and I need a U.S. flag to put back up there. That needs to be a U.S. made flag.
yeah.
So when I get I get the plywood and all the wall there, I'll get one to put up there as well. Just the priority is getting that wall finished first.
It's funny, you talking about the flag. Of course, I just put up a new flag on my pole in front of the house. I don't know where I got this flag from, but like I think a standard flag you buy is like 3x5,
Hmm.
I think.
It's something like that. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know where this flag came from. I don't know if my son had it. Um, it does say "Made in USA" right on it.
Oh, nice.
Okay, it's big. I was gonna put this on my flagpole.
Uh
And I
huh.
pulled it out of the bag. It's like 6 feet long.
Oh, wow.
It's like a 4x6 or something.
Oh,
And I
gee.
thought that's too big for my flagpole. Where did
Well,
I
that's
get this thing?
that's like even this little Greek one that I bought. When all the gift shops there, there's tens of thousands of gift shops there, and most of them sell those little flags, and they're all folded up a little thing,
Yeah,
and they have like 5 or 6 different sizes. And I should have gone with I thought I had grabbed the little bit smaller one, but I didn't.
yeah.
But it was like $4. So
Oh,
I'm
can't beat that.
yeah, and I found a real Greek made one that I just didn't have time to get it delivered from the place in town.
Yeah,
And an actual handmade one was like $12 or $15.
oh wow.
And that's one that's made there. It's actually
Yeah,
sewn with all the stripes are separate pieces sewn together. And it's just I didn't have enough time to order it, have it delivered to the hotel, and all that.
yeah.
Next time.
Nick says that he's happy for me. Or I'm happy for you, definitely, Barry. That thing is a heck of a deal. I think so too.
Yeah.
Um, when you start looking at these cars and start realizing what it takes to put one back together, as we've
Hmm.
seen, the Slither, um, there were hopes that it was in better shape, but
Hmm.
obviously, as you dig into it, it's like, well, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. So I'm really happy with the structure of that car,
Hmm.
and the pictures that I posted, like if that guy, when he posted these pictures, probably people looked at that. You look at that picture and go, oh my
Hmm.
gosh, That thing needs everything. And the reality is, that car needs next to nothing.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it, it's like, okay, you already took and threw away the parts that I don't want anyway. It's
Sort
when
of,
you go
kind of,
through a
yeah.
restore car, there's so much of these parts you look at it, say, and it's all people say, oh yeah, it's got this and it's got that. Well, yeah, but this chrome thing is garbage. This piece is
Yeah.
garbage. So much of what is there, you end up throwing away
Well,
and replacing. So
you,
they've already done the cleaning of the car for you.
yeah, yeah. So the tear down and all that.
Yeah.
Because I was even asking him, I said, do you have bumpers? And he's like, oh, let me go out. Oh, yeah, I got the bumpers. Oh, do you have a hood for it? Oh, yeah, I got a hood for it. Well, do you have this? Yeah, I got that
Yeah.
too. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Once you start going to look at it, it's like, oh, I got this. Yeah.
yeah. Well, like this picture here. I mean, you can add all that up
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
quick,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
pretty quick.
Yeah. None of that stuff is
But,
even affordable like it used to be anymore.
oh, and
And
like
that looks
that,
good. See, that looks
all the
really good.
aprons. I mean, yeah,
Other than the fact they drilled holes in the shock
or
tower,
torch holes, but that's minor.
yeah, compared to having to, like mine, replace all of that sheet metal up there,
Yeah,
you making a couple patches, welding them in there, grinding them off, that's nothing. I mean,
yeah.
that's nothing.
Chris says, well, to find my dad's 68 Meteor Lemoine with the
Lemoyne.
428 robin egg blue paint and dark blue top and interior. I would venture you're not going to
Mm,
find that.
no.
I mean, I couldn't even say I know what that looks like. So, I mean, I'm just saying there's. Charles is black Mach 1 or black Mach 1 with red stripes. Yes, that's the black one I saw had
Hmm.
red stripes on it. And if you look up the white ones, they actually have red stripes on them too, which is kind of cool looking.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
because
trying
the
to imagine
blue.
that because that's a different combination there.
Well, look it up. Look up Wimbledon white Mach 1 or 69 Mach 1 or whatever, and you'll
Hmm.
see what I'm talking about. It's it kind of works because the interior is black with the red stripe in it, so the red stripe
Yeah,
carries over.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
and I've thought on mine here when we do the interior on it, maybe adding some red accents to the interior or something like that. I don't know. We'll
yeah,
see.
Ray Buckman, the great thing, Barry, is it's yours or it will be, and you can make it any color you wish. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
But you
Nick
know what?
said,
I should stay original with my car. I think I should stay with the original color for mine.
no.
Remember what color it was?
Yeah, it's some pukey color, right?
Beige.
Yeah, beige. Yeah,
And when I took all the weather stripping off, and underneath all the roof rail stuff, all that, it was, you couldn't get a good picture of it, but it was perfect underneath there. It was the perfect, just like it rolled off the showroom floor, beige with the shine on it and everything. And
yeah,
all I could think of is, I don't like the primer gray cars now, but I will take the primer gray over that beige any day.
yeah,
It was
yeah. I'm
that
I'm
bad.
not. I'm really not into the primer gray stuff anymore. It was cool
No.
when they first started putting them out, but since everybody put them out, I'm like,
Yep.
it's gone.
Yeah. It's like they ruined silver, you know?
Yeah, there's so everything's silver. I hate it. Uh, Nick says he has seen what I was talking about. Have had ha, I have had red interior though, so he's
Mm.
talking about probably the white or I
Hmm.
guess. Chris Barry, how about a pastel blue 70 and a Wimbledon white 70 Mach 1? Yeah, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. That almost sounds like the drag cars they took over to Vietnam. They had the special drag cars that they were using for display. J.C. Meyer, grabber blue with white interior. I did a 70 Mustang grabber blue, and then we converted it to black interior. It was actually blue on blue, but it wasn't grabber blue. It was some other medium blue. But there's a video of that process as well. Richard, I have seen a black 69 Mach, but it was originally yellow with black stripe. He painted after being spotted and chased for racing. He should have taken his ticket. Yeah. Nick looks at pictures of his reddish orange Mustang. Yeah, we're talking about Nick's Beast.
Hmm.
Will that pop up? Should pop
Yeah,
up.
it did. It did.
Oh, it
Yeah,
didn't show up. There we
that
go.
looks really good. It really
It
does.
does. Yeah, I'm looking forward to driving that for him. I know he said I could drive it wherever I wanted. He would ride along and let me drive it all over the place.
So
So,
after he puts in one of those brake pedals like they have in driver's ed cars, so he
oh
can
yeah,
step on the brake pedal.
yeah. Oh, believe me, I would not do anything crazy in that car.
Yeah, it's like I drove 10 feet in the parking lot. Okay, it's yours now.
Yep, here you
I'm
go.
done.
Richard, the original yellow Stang had all black interior, so the whole car was black. Oh, we're talking about the one that was painted. Okay. JC Meyer, mine is color code Y, medium bronze iridite. Kids call it root beer sparkle. Okay, I
Mm.
I could see that.
I
Brian, I
remember.
hated the champagne gold of my Fairlane when I bought it, but when I imagined it with flat black graphics, I changed my mind. Plus, I don't have to do a full color change. That has its advantages as well.
Well, in that color he was just talking about, what I was imagining was the appliances that used to be a color similar to that. The brownish with the metallic of the time back then. That's just what came to mind when I heard that color.
Okay. Um, okay, so Jerry's talking to Terry. Something about a crappy fight song. Oh,
Oh, hey, she was at the airport earlier today, and I made sure that I called her because my ringtone when I call her is the Michigan fight song, and I made sure I called her while she was in the airport in Cleveland.
okay.
See, I'm just so considerate, aren't I?
Yeah. Tommy says could be a casket or a casket flag. I don't know. It could
Mm.
be. I don't know where it came from, honestly.
I miss this place. We used to have a place over here in across the lake from me, us another little town over there. They used to make flags. I don't remember the name of the company, but they used to make not little flags, not big flags. They made the ones that went at the car dealership flags. Those
Oh,
massive, huge things. It was
yeah,
a huge factory. And I
yeah.
remember going in there one time, and they had those huge tables that they could put the whole thing out there and then run it back and forth and sew it. Those, when you see them up in the sky, they're big. But when you see that thing in a factory,
Oh, yeah.
it's like, wow, that's a huge flag.
Yeah, you don't realize it.
And there's a reason the car dealers don't have those flags anymore, because the cost would be tremendous on
Oh,
those.
yeah. Well, they still have down here. I see them all over the place down here.
Yeah, but I'm
But
talking the really, really, where the post is,
yeah. Oh, I hear what you're
yeah,
saying. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. As
Chris says there's a 70 triple black 351 Cobra Jet Mach 1 one town over from me.
mm,
That sounds cool. Roger says, is it a bad time to say go blue? Um, Now, J.C. Meyer says no 351 Cobra Jet in 1970, probably a 351 Cleveland 4V. So, yeah, he says a 351 Cobra Jet. So, okay, yeah. Okay.
yeah, I am no expert on any of that
Yeah.
stuff at all. So, yeah.
Uh, Car Guy Troy, late as always, what did you buy? Well, I haven't bought it yet,
Oh, you have.
but I've committed to buying it. And the guy has agreed to let me buy it. Is this project car. 69 Mach 1. And it comes with a bunch of pieces and parts.
Mm.
It's been sitting disassembled for 17 years.
And,
Look,
and all that massive rust there behind the
oh, look
tire.
at that floor
Yeah,
pan. It's just terrible.
yeah. But did you see all that massive rust behind the tire there, up in, by the
Oh, yeah.
trunk, that trunk filler panel? Oh, it's just massive rust there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be terrible to work on.
Yeah. Yeah, if this really turns out the way it looks, you're going to be kind of bored with it because there's not going to be enough metal work for you.
That's okay. That's okay. I can be bored. I can be bored. Um, Chris has something about 351 CJRA specs. Okay. Jerry says what?
I
There was
guess
no
you're talking
mention
about
of
the
there was
color.
no mention of red.
Well,
Oh,
I mentioned red trim and stuff here and there.
yeah. So
She just tends to have
yeah,
selective hearing.
Shannon, I'm hoping you show us some good detail on how to do the drip rails on a Mach 1. I'm looking forward to the next video. Well, yeah, the next video, I don't know exactly what I'm going to cover on that. But yeah, we'll be working on getting the drip rails and all that stuff together as
Mm.
we progress. So stay
I,
tuned for that.
I just had this thought of shaving the drip rails on it.
Yeah, not going to do that.
It's yeah, and shaving drip rails on most cars is just a royal pain in the butt.
Yeah,
It looks good when it's done right, but it
but
is a
it's a
lot of
lot of
work.
work. Yep.
It's not as easy as just zip it off and call it done.
Yeah. Um, okay, so we have Dave Britton checking in.
Hmm.
Glad you're here, Dave. Steve Willett in San Diego, we call that navy gray.
I think it,
Hey,
the
talking about the gray
framework.
cars, I think.
Yeah.
Richard, beige is what your wife says after 30 years looking at the bedroom ceiling. Beige. I think I'll paint the ceiling beige. Yep. Dave Tyson, someone drag race a 69 white Mustang. Yes, they did. So Nick says, so you don't hate red. Well, a full car painted red, I'm not into that.
Mhm.
Red accents, I'm okay with.
Well, you'd love the way my El Camino was out of the factory. It was it's technically two tone, but it was actually three tone because of all the extra chrome layers,
Yeah.
and it was the two shades of maroon, and when it came out of the factory, it looked great, but then later on, it's like, so you mean to replace all this chrome is going to cost me 15 years ago? Going to cost me 3 grand 15 years ago to replace all that chrome. Yeah, it's a good time to just take all the chrome off,
Yeah.
get rid of the two tone stuff, and just say it never happened.
Yeah. Charles Mosley says, drive Nick's car at Road Atlanta. Well, it might be a long way to get it here from the Midwest, but that would be fun.
Hmm.
Dave Conville, we're talking about only 69s, Jack W., and I have located a 70 Wimbledon White Mach 1 in very long term storage near us, not for sale. We tried.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, 70's okay too. I just prefer the 69 front end more.
Hmm. Or take a 70 and put 69
Put the
front end
69
on it.
front end on it, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I'd like a 70 El Camino Chevelle, but I'll take a 68 to 72 because if I really have to, I can put whatever front end I want on the
Yeah.
car. It all
Yeah.
fits.
Sorry. Richard says root beer bronze or brown was on 70s Dodge Vans. I believe that. Cargo Troy knew a guy years ago that had a black 69 Mach 1 420 Cobra Jet and bought a twin to it when they re-released the Mach 1 in 2004 and the shaker hood, etc. looked great together. Okay. So he had yeah, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Hooker Honeybees, 67 convertible lime gold with saddle interior. Okay.
Mm.
I'm not much of a fan of lime gold, but
Not,
yeah,
not my thing.
not my most popular color. Steve's Money Pit. Robert, you just want to see a blue Mustang like Barry's. I
I
showed the
will
blue
make,
Mustang.
and like I've said before, no comment on what color jade really is. I've seen it in person. No
Well, look,
comment.
this is blue,
Oh yeah,
light blue.
yeah.
This is not. That is not blue.
And it's like I would almost call it. It's a version of a seafoam greenish kind
Yes.
of. I don't know what
Well, it's
it is.
Gulfstream Aqua.
Yeah,
Aqua.
yeah,
Green. Aqua. Yeah.
yeah. But it's in between. It's that in
It
between.
is.
It looks really good. It really does.
Terry
And I'm
Keith
not a
says,
fan of that kind of color usually.
yeah,
I think it looks really good.
thank you. Terry says he hates that school and their fight song. Gene says, good night, all. Good night, Gene. Glad you're here. Jerry says she actually likes that song. That song isn't horrible, just thinks that it's wasted on that school. Okay.
She's
Doyle, is that your dream Mustang other than your dad's? Yeah. I mean, I think so. I mean, I love the 69s, fastback, Mach 1, whatever. I do really like the 68, but I feel like I actually like the 68 Coupe a bit more than I like the fastback for some reason. I don't know why. Certain times I like one over the other.
Mm-hmm.
Certain times I like the looks of a. If the fastback is done right, I
Mm-hmm.
like it. If it's kind of stock, it doesn't really get
Yeah.
me so much.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and a
it's like
coupe,
certain,
same thing. You have to dress it up.
and then there's certain angles you look at, cars are like, it looks great from here, but it's like if I look at it this angle, it's like, no, I just let me not look at it from that angle again. Even on a car I really like, there's certain
Yeah,
angles that certain things just don't look right
yeah.
sometimes.
Nick says if you don't buy that car, I'm going to take a bus to your house just to cup a fart and blow it in your face.
Oh, trust me, he's gonna buy it.
Yeah, as long as the guy, I mean, he's agreed to it. He's pulled it off a marketplace. He told me I'm the buyer.
Now,
So,
why not? Now, the other thought is why not just make a recreation of what your dad's looked like?
well, I'm
You could
the
go
only
that route.
gray area on that. Okay, that car was a 351 Windsor with a 4-speed. I don't have a 4-speed. I would like to put a 4-speed in it, but
Mm-hmm.
I have to get my mind wrapped around it. On one hand, I really do want to recreate that car. I
Mm-hmm.
really, really do. But I also appreciate what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it was painted beige, I would not even consider it.
Yeah.
But I looked at pictures of the Wimbledon white with the black interior. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's kind of cool looking, and it's different
Yeah. Yeah.
because I can. I mean, I've seen many of the Acapulco blue ones, and I
Mm-hmm.
still love them. I do, but I also like the little bit of different
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing about it. Like finding that black one. It's like, ooh, okay,
Yeah.
that gives me a whole different perspective.
Yeah.
So
And white for me is just like, no, I've had way too many white vehicles. It's just like I don't ever want to see another white vehicle ever again, kind of thing.
yeah,
It's just like,
well, you need to look at some pictures of the '69 in Wimbledon white with the stripes and all that stuff
yeah.
because it's Wimbledon white, which isn't really white. It's off white.
Mm-hmm.
Richard, that just means he can invest time and money on the looks and design, Robert, instead of sheet metal. Yeah, that is true.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And who knows what I might come up with? Who knows? Doyle, how about grabber yellow with black stripes? Yeah, I mean, I'm not against that. But yellow is not my first choice for the Mustangs. Again, it would have to be that bright, rip your eyes out yellow, nothing pastel looking.
Yeah. And
Um,
well, and then if you're going to do it yellow with black stripes, you'd paint it black and then you would do the yellow on top
yes,
anyway. So
yeah,
you'd go the other way with it than you normally, just
yeah,
just because you got to do yellow and black anyway. So
yeah.
you might as well go that route.
Steve's money pit. Barry can almost get right to paint on his Mach 1. Yeah, well, it's going to be on mine will be on the back burner. Mine is going to be back burner. Just like half
Yeah,
the other stuff I have here is on the back burner. This is a priority right now. That's
yeah,
all that I focus on.
yeah.
But I have to take advantage of the opportunity to get that in my
Because
hands.
it's just getting harder and harder to find stuff.
It is.
It is.
I mean,
Despite the fact they made so many of them, this guy does this one guy does that one. They're just it's a dwindling number no matter what.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
just
and everybody wants them.
yeah, and then it's going to get to the point where it's like you're not going to find stuff like that. You're going to find ones that, well, this guy did it 20 years ago or 25 years ago. It wasn't done well or whatever, and then you're going to be. That's what you're going to be, having to buy is something to redo that somebody else did and either didn't do well or it didn't hold up well or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep. Cargo Troy, great find. Not near enough welding there for you. Just saying that looks like a cakewalk compared to the crusty CJ you have now. Yeah, it's gonna. I mean, from everything I'm seeing, I'm like, ooh,
Hmm.
well, look, I'm almost done.
Yeah.
Ray Buckman's laughing at Nick. Nick says, "What's a road course? Sure, I can make it down. Sure, if I can make it down that way. You have to look up Road Atlanta if you're interested, Nick. Look up
They
Road
make
Atlanta.
they do make trailers.
Yeah,
You know.
look up Road Atlanta. You'll be amazed. Crash Letter, you better hope that fellow you're buying the GT from isn't watching. Since no money has changed hands in me reviewing his options, it does happen. I'm pretty confident. We've had several conversations already, and I'm pretty confident with
Mm.
this gentleman. Um, yeah, but you're right. Isaac, my 60 coupe is red on red. I agree. Don't like red either, but it's a running original that has never been touched. My dilemma. Yeah, yeah. Red on it. That's a tough one. Red on red.
Yeah, there was that 69 red one that I took a picture of at the swap meet here. I don't know, a couple of years ago, sent you the picture of it. And I can't remember how much they were asking for it at the time. It wasn't a bad price.
Yeah,
It was, interior was gutted and there were some other things to it, but overall, it wasn't a bad price for, for the project it was.
yeah,
But it was red. It just wasn't a red that I don't mind some reds, but that red
yeah.
didn't do anything for me.
Chris Greenaway says looking at paint options for my 72 Montego GT. And Richard says Jade is aqua. That is true. Richard, I was always a fan of the Moxie swept back window rather than the standard coupe, especially on the 69. The 69, the roof line on a coupe just doesn't work. It just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make sense. That's why I never cared for those so much.
Well, and then the 5.6, I have a problem with the 5.6 fastbacks.
Yeah,
Okay, I have a problem with it because when I sit down on the seat, I can't physically bend over far enough to get my head down and under and up in there.
yeah,
So it's if you're 5'5" or shorter, it's
yeah.
great. but that coming down just it doesn't work well.
Dave Brent says don't forget the thumbs up. Thank you for that. Nick, there's a guy that has loads of rebuilt top loaders near me. I don't think they're priced all that bad either. Okay, well, that may be a consideration. Terry, what engine came in your car? Are you talking about the one I'm going to buy? I don't know exactly. I think it was probably a Windsor motor. I think, based on the VIN number that I have. But it also comes with a Cleveland. So we'll have to do some debating on that.
Well, now you just need an M to go with it. Now you've got one of all three.
Yeah.
And I can't remember my grandmother's 73 LTD was a 351, and I want to say it was an M, but it may not be. I don't
Yeah.
remember. That was the last car she had, and it went to the junkyard with like 20,000 miles on it.
Yep.
It was a Detroit car, so you understand.
Yeah. Richard built an AOD with overdrive forward, just changed the input shaft and forward drum because the factory ones were a tad weak. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad idea. PT Dave 2002. Hey guys, 65 Caspian Blue fastback here from Ontario, Canada. Great channel, very helpful videos. Cheers. Thank you. And Caspian Blue is one of those odd colors too.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac, I have a Muncie 4-speed in the shed with her shifter brand new, but has a Chevy bell.
And I just remember, I used to go to swap meets, and you'd have bunches of guys with, a line of transmissions there.
Yeah.
All rebuilt transmissions ready to go, and they weren't terribly expensive. And yeah, now it's rare to see a rebuilt, and now I see, a thing that looks like it's pulled out of the ocean, like
Yeah.
shipwreck kind of stuff. It is rare to find them anymore.
Steve's Money Pit says my back burner is really crowded. Chris is talking to PT Dave. They're getting where they're from. Chris says, Joe, how much would you want for a 351 Cleveland? I don't know. That is just something I don't know. I don't know what they're worth.
Yeah, it is like any of those. I have no idea on values of what that stuff goes for.
Yeah. Rusty, we have a 69 convertible and he had replaced the quarters with the fastback quarters, and it looked way better. Okay. I'd have to see
I have
that,
to
but
look,
yeah.
yeah, I have to like look at the pictures and
Yeah.
yeah.
And Richard, Cleveland has a triangle boss right next to distributor hole. Triangle boss. Okay. Yeah, I don't know enough about them. I mean, I know
Mhm.
that that's more than likely the Cleveland, based on the valve covers.
Well, and it's like, changing cams in them, doing engine work to them. It's like I've done so few Fords that it's like a different animal.
Yeah,
A lot of things you're like, why does it have this big aluminum thing in the front of it? It's like
yeah,
certain things I'm like, why?
yeah.
What is this for? And this could have been done more simply. And yeah,
Just like like doing the Chevy mods. It's like, oh, I want to put a cam in it. Okay, now what
yeah,
else can I do?
yeah. Oh yeah. And again, it's like Studebaker did a great job designing that engine. I can't give credit to GM because they didn't.
Yeah,
They got it from Studebaker.
yep. Richard, remember when you could grab a Muncie for $75? Then 2 years later they were 200. Then 2 years later, good luck. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, it's like I wish I still had that 8.5 inch rear end for the GMG body. Yeah, I had the Hurst Olds one, which had the 373 gears. I paid like $200 for it. I don't know. I sold it a few years later for $1,000 or a little over $1,000, and now they're like, I've seen people wanting 2, 3 grand for those things now.
yeah.
It's just, and then people were just like, if you got an empty housing, I'll take that. You know, yeah, should have held on to it a little longer.
Yeah. Charles, unless your car is a special original car is special, original cars don't bring near what rest mods do. Kind of sad, but Slither, if sold, not happening. We're bringing much more than a restored as Cobra Jet. I believe so.
Hmm.
Yeah. Nick, I gotta go. Been fun. Yeah, I'm about done here too.
Yeah.
Night y'all. That's a Cleveland. Thank you, Nick. Whoops. Chris, I'll pay the Montego GT is a heavy car with the 460. I'm concerned on a car as good as a rolled up sock in the britches. Okay. Richard, yes, that's why it's still in the shed. Okay. Charles, Cleveland fuel pump vertical bolts. Windsor is sure. Side by side. Cleveland thermostat housing hose is vertical. Windsor is horizontal. Okay. Good information.
I will forget that 3 seconds from now
Yes.
if I don't
Michael,
write it down.
is a three fuel in Cleveland going to fit between the shock towers? Yes, that engine will fit in there. Yes, I know that for a fact. Richard says yes, and Cleveland not fun changing plugs. Yeah, yeah, I know how that is. I have a picture of my wife actually changing spark plugs on a '68 fastback that had a 428 in it. She had to get her hands in there because I could not.
That's where, with my El Camino, it was great. Changing plugs was awesome. Okay. Because I put a floor jack underneath the cross member. I jack up the front. I get it to where the wheels are hanging down. I get my long extension and I go through the wheel wells. I do everything. I don't even open the hood,
Yeah,
because you can do it all through the wheel wells, all four on this side. You go around to that side, you do the other four, swap them out. Never even open the hood and you've changed the plugs.
yeah. Okay, we're about to close up shop here. Steve's Money Bear sent you a picture on your phone of a not blue car. Okay. Richard Vogel, great show, Barry. I joined late. I forgot it was Monday already. Well, glad you showed up, Richard. And Chris, Dave Tyson in a 72 Montego. It's a breeze. Yeah, that's a big car. Okay,
Yep.
I'm going to call it a night. Glad you were here, Robert.
Yep.
And we'll do it again sometime.
Yep.
Uh, can't wait to see more videos.
Yeah, there's a slim chance I might make a recon mission looking for a rear end at the junkyard this week because low mid 90s isn't too bad. So I got to start looking, see what
Yeah,
if I can find one. So
yeah, got to
I
get it
just
on the road.
you figure out it'll be whatever one they have as a posi rear end that's in the best shape. Whatever gear ratio it is what I'm going to get.
Yeah,
You know, I, I'd like it like a 323, but if it's a 373, I'll live with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You can launch well. Okay, we'll catch
All
up
right.
soon.
Good talking to you.
Yep.
Night, everybody.
Whoa, there we go. Okay. Whew. It's been 2 hours. It's been 2 hours. But that's good. Time rolls when you're having a good time, right? Yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. Hopefully everything plays out the way I want it to, and we're able to get a hold of that Mustang. I'm looking forward to having it on hand. But again, that's going to be on the side. It's on the side. I've got other projects to work on that are sitting right here, and this is more important to me than anything else at the moment. So, as it is, I want to thank you all for being here. Hit that thumbs up. Hit the like button, all that stuff. If you watch any of my videos, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, help the algorithm, and I'll be back. Yeah, I should be back next Monday, no problem. So until then, take care of yourselves. See ya.